part of South Philly. Let's go see what the people have got to say. I'm ready to roll, baby.
Now listen here, Dutch. The Mets and the Cowboys, they suck.
1, 2, 3, go Birds! Go Birds! Here we got 302BIRDS, United States. Go Birds!
Get your water ice and soft pretzels ready because you are now tuned into a 302BIRDS podcast experience. Proudly presented by Tick Pick, Nick's Pizza, El Diablo Burritos, and Klondike Kate's on the heart of Main Street. Let's take it to the show.
What is going on, everybody? Happy Wednesday night, Thursday morning, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, or whatever day you choose to listen to us. You are tuned in to another episode of 302BIRDS podcast, proudly powered by the Tick Pick app. If you guys haven't downloaded today, the best place to get your tickets to the new schedule release with no fees. But we got a jam-packed show for you guys tonight. We got an awesome call-in. We got Joe Donahue calling in later. We're talking about the Tush Push ban and all the stuff that's going along with that. The teams that potentially may not be safe coming to the link next year, we're going to talk about later in the show. That's going to be hilarious. Real edgy show we got for you guys tonight, including Joe Douglas's return, Jalen Ramsey rumors, tongue twister, Colorado Rockies update, talk about Alvarado's suspension too. We got a lot on tap. But before all that, as I mentioned, we got an awesome call-in in the bullpen warming up. Let's go ahead and bring them on stage.
What do I want when I'm in the state of Delaware? Of course, El Diablo Burritos. Customer service always is serving your food with a smile on their face, asking how your day is. Their food is phenomenal as well. Their burritos are out of this world, one of the best burritos in town. Their queso is phenomenal. Their burrito bowls are amazing as well. When you're in and around Delaware, stop by your local El Diablo Burritos and tell them that 302BIRDS sent you. God bless. Go Birds. Thank you to El Diablo Burritos for that sponsorship. If you're in and around Delaware, stop by your local El Diablo Burrito. Tonight we got Justin. How you doing tonight, Justin?
What's going on, everybody? I'm doing great. How are we all doing?
I'm doing
great.
Fantastic.
Awesome. Great to hear. Happy to be on the show. Let's get it popping. Go Birds.
Go Birds. What question do you have for us for these this Philadelphia sports or the Eagles in general?
So right off the bat, we are, as we sit, defending Super Bowl champions, and we'll kind of start with the current news with the Tush Push staying alive after the recent vote today. Do you guys believe that more teams, now that the Tush Push is here to stay, will try to actually implement the play? I know the Bills were one of the teams that tried to run it. They sometimes had success, sometimes they did not. I know the Packers were on the forefront of wanting the play banned. What do you guys think about the league as a whole? Adapting and wanting to implement the play into their own playbook, other teams.
Yeah, like Nick Sirianni said in the presser, I think this may have been an old presser, but he said if every team could do it, they would do it, but they don't have the right capabilities to do it. So I really think, and I've been on this kind of standpoint, this point of view, since the rumors were saying they're going to take that out of the game. It's been in the game since it's been in the playbook since 1930s, since the league started. So it's not really that much of a new play. It's been around for quite some time. It's just the Eagles have perfected the way to run the Tush Push, and I mean they've done numerous like accounts, and people were saying, oh my God, it causes a lot of injuries. Well, there hasn't been many injuries at all since past 2-3 years. They've been trying to get rid of it. So I think teams. I mean, we saw in the playoffs the Bills try to run the tush push against the Ravens or the Chiefs, whoever they played. And they couldn't do it because you would think they would be able to do it because they have Josh Allen, who is 6'5" and is lengthy, but their offensive line can't get that push that we can. So
Right.
I think teams have tried to run the tush push, but they've been not successful at all. So that's kind of where I'm at with this.
Gotcha. Yeah. I think well, it's just that they should see the success that the Eagles have with it. And I thought that more teams would want to try it, but you're right, it's a personnel thing. And I think we have obviously the best personnel to run the play.
Exactly. Don, you have any takes on it?
Yeah. I mean, you guys kind of covered what I have to say. I actually had some questions for Justin I wanted to get into. Which,
Sure.
I mean, Justin, I love your videos, man. I love your support right off the bat. When you guys meet Justin, you get to know him. This dude is super supportive, super cool, and we love that around here. So you've been around all these athletes. Do you have a favorite moment or a favorite player, per se, that you've been around or somebody that you just felt was really genuine and you're like, man, every time I see that guy, we just have a good connection. It's a good moment.
Yeah. BG, because he put me on his story about last month, and that literally made me almost have a heart attack. So probably Brandon Graham, because he forced me to when he put me on his story, and I've gotten to meet him about 5 or 6 times now. He's liked photos on my Instagram and stuff. So he's probably the one athlete and former Eagle player that I guess you could say I know / he knows me the best. So I'd say Brandon Graham. But to answer your question, Joel, as the coolest moment, my favorite moment in all my signings and players I've worked with and all that has to be Saquon Barkley. This past November, one day after he broke the rushing record for the Eagles against the Rams. And I got to do a private signing with him at the Valley Forge Casino with Saquon. As you can imagine, that was pretty darn cool. So I would have to say that.
Yeah, that is really cool. I love the answer of BG too, because Jack and I got to meet BG at an event for the Chesapeake Inn a couple months ago. And that was my second time meeting Brandon Graham. Obviously, every time for me, at least, it's super brief. The first time was at Chickies and Pete's, and it was WIP. But the thing that I love about Brandon Graham is, even though sometimes these interactions are brief, I think you kind of alluded to it, he makes them feel like more of a personal connection. And I just think that's so cool. I think that's awesome.
Absolutely. And it sounds cliche, but I'm here to tell you as a witness, someone that's experienced it firsthand, he really is like that. As you guys know too, you said you met him and stuff. He's that guy, right? He really is that nice of a guy. He is who you think he is, whether the camera's on him or not. So yeah.
Yeah, I love it. I mean, he just really it's a shame that he has to retire, because I feel like as Eagles fans, nothing against the new talent, but we're just losing such signature personalities of the Eagles, right? Within Brandon Graham, Kelsey, Lane Johnson is going to be gone in a couple of years. But what about do you have any opposing athletes that you've ever dealt with, or is it just specifically Philly sports?
It's specifically Philly sports. What's funny is this was in talks. I was supposed to, and it still might happen. I don't have a definitive date, but if you are a Star Wars fan, any Star Wars fans out there, I'm supposed to do something with Ray Park, who played Darth Maul, coming up this summer. I was supposed to pick him up actually. So yeah,
That's pretty cool.
That would be nuts, right? So I'll keep you updated on that, Doll. But I'm not sure what the status of that is, because my buddy who has the connections with me for helping with the Eagle players and the signings and stuff brought up his name. So I was like, dude, yeah, I'll totally help with that. I'm a big fan. But opposing, no, it's really mostly Eagle players, mostly football players and athletes. It just got postponed. I was supposed to pick up Kenny Gainwell, who's now a Steeler. We all remember Kenny Gainwell. On May 6th, I was supposed to take him up to Lancaster for a signing, but I just got word that got postponed. And that's unfortunate. But, right now, no, there's nobody I would really say that I opposed. Everybody I've got a chance to work with has been awesome and had a great time. They've been awesome people, too.
Jack, you got any other questions for Justin before we move on to our next segment?
No, I mean, what you do is amazing. It's incredible how you have those connections with the players. Yeah, it's cool to hear your perspective on BG because I mean, he is a people's player or players people. Yeah, he's people's player. So it's nice to see that similar fans are in the same boat. So really cool, really awesome that you do. Appreciate what you do.
Yeah, thank you. And I'll just tell you guys really quick. I asked them, I posted this to my page. I asked BG recently, post retirement at our signing. I said, if you had to pick, would you rather be in the front office or coaching position? He said front office. I thought he might say coaching, but he actually said he'd rather be in the front office if he had to pick. And I hope he does because he needs to stay involved with the organization somehow.
Yeah, I mean, it was kind of interesting when they interviewed him. It was kind of up in the air. He wants to obviously be back in Philadelphia. But the way I got it is that he wants to be a coach of some sorts. But so it's cool to see, that he from his mouth that he wants to be in the front office. I think, anyone like Ryan Kerrigan, he's in the front office for the Redskins now. I'm related to him. And it's cool to see. Yeah. It's cool to see Ryan Kerrigan, do what he's doing for that team. So it's nice to have players back on the team, recent players. So yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, they should bring Allen Iverson back with the Sixers immediately.
Yeah,
somehow.
Exactly.
Yeah. That's a great take. I love that. I mean, some shape or form. And I know he's asked about it too, I believe.
Yeah, can he play? I mean, we need him to play.
I mean, hey, I'm down for that, bro. I'm down for that. Give him a uniform and age is just a number, right?
Oh, right. Hey, you guys got it. Yep.
Well, hey, Justin, we appreciate you for joining us. Can you please let the people know where they can give you a follow?
Appreciate it, guys. Yeah, Justin_Fiorillo94 on IG. If you want to see some really cool from my experience working with the players, doing signings and stuff like that, behind the scenes, on the field, in the tunnel, asking players questions, being funny with them, being serious with them, all whole different stuff. Just check me out. Go Birds.
Go Birds, man. We appreciate you. Hope you have a good night,
Jack.
bro.
Appreciate it, Dalt. Yep, have a great night, guys.
You guys got to follow Justin. I think we're definitely going to collab with him here in the future. He's a great dude. From the time I met him, I love him. He's got great energy. He's a huge Eagles fan. And if you like Eagles memorabilia or you like seeing kind of behind the scenes with this stuff, you got to follow him because some of these, like his picture with Slay with the big smile on the back of the card too, that one cracked me up. So that was really awesome. But let's go ahead and get into the Phillies side of the show. Brought to you by Nick's Pizza. If you guys haven't, go check out their new location in Wilmington, Delaware. It's awesome. Got some great pizza, great cheesesteaks, great pasta. I thought about it today because I really wanted some Detroit-style pizza. I thought of Ballpark Tommy today, actually, too. Time for Phillies talk with Ballpark Tommy. Finger stitch. All right, guys. Well, Tom's not here to talk about his favorite team, and obviously I would love to see his reaction to the whole Alvarado situation because I know he's upset, as we all are. But let's start off the show with more of a positive, upbeat. Mick Abel really just impressed. Goes out in his Phillies debut, and I believe sets a record for the most strikeouts ever thrown. Really competes with Libby Dunn's man, Paul Skeens. And on top of all of it, I'll tell you guys a funny story real quick. So there's a guy named Philly Captain, if you guys don't know him. Everybody around here knows him. But for anybody that's not from the Philadelphia area that's watching the show, Philly Captain is a legend in Philadelphia. And KJ's like, yo, I saved a seat for Philly Captain. And he's known to be a heckler, is the way we'll put it, at the stadium. So Paul Skeens, future Hall of Famer, MLB Hall of Famer, one of the greats pitchers right now. I believe has like the lowest ERA in MLB right now, is warming up. It's like LeBron warming up in his prime, right? This dude, Philly Captain, legend, just won an Emmy too, goes, hey, Paul Skeens, nobody vacations in Pittsburgh, buddy. Or he says it just like that. And like, it's like really quiet. And KJ just goes, and he like laughs. But the video goes super viral on TikTok because everybody wants to comment, you know what I mean? All the negative stuff. Turns out Livy Dunn actually ends up commenting on KJ McCoy's TikTok, which was insane. So now a lot of people are debating. Look what the Mick Abel effect is for Philadelphia Phillies fans. He brought us a win. he set a record for rookies for most strikeouts in Phillies debut. Sorry, I say rookies. I shouldn't say that in baseball. A Phillies debut, most strikeouts ever thrown. And then on top of all of it, KJ McCoy is living up Livy Dunn in his comment. No, I'm kidding. But in all seriousness, it is kind of funny that she responded because she said that she was going to say that to him at dinner the other night. So really cool to see how it all went. But moreover, really cool to see Mick Abel's debut. Jack, how'd you feel?
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to hit Megan Chaos, Chris, for watching. I'm going to reply to this. I mean, yeah, that's the biggest, like, what the hell moment, because Mick Abel pitched a gem on Sunday, right? And then all of a sudden they're going to send him down to the minors after one game, after his debut, where he had 9 strikeouts. We struggle with pitching. We have struggled in pitching, and we still do for the Phillies. And the fact that, we'll talk about it later, but José Alvarado is now suspended. Like, why would you send somebody who, I would say obviously is coming off one of the greatest games he's ever played in Major League Baseball and send him back down? Because by sending him down, that confidence, I feel like it's a slap in the face. Like, his confidence was up here, and then all of a sudden he's getting sent back down the minors down to here. So then when we bring him back up, he may not have the same game. So I think we should have kept him in the rotation. But I don't know what the Phillies are doing. So that's what I have to kind of hit on.
Yeah, I mean, he had a great game. However, it had always been known that he was going to get sent right back down. I think this is something that we decided from the beginning. Yes, he had a fantastic game, but I think they're kind of thinking, let's let him continue to develop. I really don't know how much time he needs to continue to develop, but I'm hoping that there is a plan and not just concepts of a plan. That's what I've got at this point.
Yeah, I mean, sending someone down when they go ahead and go out there through 6 innings, only allow 5 hits, no walks, no errors, and pitch 9 strikeouts, and you're going to send them down? Come on, man. What are you doing, Phillies? We'll see. But it is encouraging, though, I will say, too, because the Phillies are a team that don't really have the best farm system, I'll say. As Chaos Chris said right there in the comments, too, with Dombrowski, which I love that. But, yeah, I mean, I feel like as Phillies fans, we just kind of want more out of this team, and we feel like their farm system, their front office, everything, they don't really have their ass in gear. And Mick Abel is a shining star and a shining example of, hey, the Phillies farm system actually did something good for once. And, because this guy's been a Philly for a while. And the one thing I want to say about it, too, before we move on, my favorite part about this whole Mick Abel thing is his Instagram post, if you guys go look at it. Obviously, that's the new way to do, like, letters and stuff like that. But he basically addressed the Philadelphia Phillies organization and said, hey, thank you for taking a chance and an opportunity on me as a kid. Thank you for believing in me from the start. Thank you for helping, develop me, because I wouldn't have gotten here without you guys. So I love that. That's really cool that he's a class act, and he actually, now obviously it's not like the Phillies Instagram account is going to comment, hey, Mick, really appreciate the compliment, man. Thanks for saying that. We love you too. I mean, maybe they would in a couple of years because social media is trending towards that. But the point is, he's a class act, and I think that shows us fans his head is in the right place. So encouraging to see.
Absolutely.
Brotherly love, Philly. Appreciate you being in here, man. Thank you for joining the show. I'm a huge fan of you too, just saying. But now the negative part of the show, guys. José Alvarado, the hefty lefty, got suspended. Why don't I let a lefty take it first?
Yeah, I mean, it's sad. I mean, he was pitching very well this season. But I also think it's childish because, okay, so we know that he went on a ship for 2-3 days out in where he's from, to kind of refocus and pull a Aaron Rodgers, because he wanted to kind of circle back and kind of get to where his roots are or whatever. And then he comes back with all this weight loss, and then now we're saying that he just tested positive for a weight loss supplement. And like I said, it could be Ozempic. I'm not sure what that weight loss drug is, but the fact that really blows my mind is he tested negative. The test came back negative for him taking this like early on in the season. And then it had a third test, did nothing about it. And then the last test tested positive. So what are we doing? Because you have doctors, you have people in the locker room who work with the players on a day-to-day basis, right? And José Alvarado, whether he said anything to them or not, should have said, "Hey, I'm taking this weight loss medicine. Is it legal to take?" And then we would have figured it out. But the fact that obviously he's gone for 80 days, suspended for 80 games, and the fact that he pretty much just took his shit out of his locker and just left and didn't apologize to the team at all. I mean, he let the team down, and it's the MLB. It's not any college baseball. It's not high school baseball. It's the MLB. So they could have done something to prevent this. So I just can't believe this actually happened.
The amount of checks and balances that are in this system, right? The amount of people that anything has to go through. The fact that this got overlooked is unacceptable. And not only is it the 80 games, but it's the being completely ineligible for the postseason.
Mm-hmm.
It is all of that combined to we very well could be screwed. I am surprised that there's not being more questions that have been asked, either from the Phillies organization or from the MLB at large. They kind of seem to be like, this, we're good. And they're moving on, when I really feel like there should be a closer look taken at this.
Yeah, definitely. Like Chris said in the comments too, anything with testosterone, you got to be more conscientious of. Like that kind of stuff doesn't get taken lightly in the MLB. Where is it? I'm trying to get the photo up. Is it going to come up? No. There it is. There. Yeah, that was the Photoshop that I made the other day. Getting real creative. But it's like, you go from that great moment from Mother's Day to this. Come on, man. Come on. Really, really sad. I liked Alvarado, too. He said, I found myself on a boat this offseason. I did all these things. And I do agree with Jack's point, too. Like, primarily, I blame it on the doctors, and I guess would that be called the pharmacy staff? I don't know what you call the nutritionists, like basically the people that are in charge of what these players intake in their body. That person is number one, primary, gets blamed. I get that. Number two, though, you got to blame yourself. Like Chris is saying, testosterone in the coffee. Like, testosterone is something you can't, like, I laugh and I make jokes about it. And some people are like, wow, this is edgy. Like, this, it's funny to me because it's like, it's so simple. It's like, it's testosterone, like just saying it. It's like a masculine word, obviously, but it's something the MLB obviously is not going to fuck around about. So you got to be careful with it. But the other stuff, like the weight loss drug, that I kind of actually have forgiveness for the guy. Because it's more like, okay, he was just trying to better his body. He actually did say losing weight helped him on the mound this year. It helped him with his balance. The thing is, it's like, I blame that on the nutritionist or the pharmacy or whatever you want to call it. But all in all, the Phillies are in a real hole now because they need to find a guy that can come out. They're obviously talking about going out and potentially getting David Robertson, one of the best closers in the game, looking at some different names with that. They need somebody to step up. The nice thing is Romano, I say it differently now, has really picked up his game and his stats. I think I sent it in the one Phillies group chat today. I'm sure I deleted the photo. But his ERA since April 20th has just been, his ERA on April 19th was a 15.26. His ERA since 420 was a 0.93. Correlation? You decide, Philadelphia. The point is, I don't care. He's playing great baseball. Whatever you got to do, little Dicky, get out there and close. Because right now, we need it more than ever. Alvarado's gone. Alvarado, he wasn't just a pitcher. He provided some spunk. And I think that was a good thing. So we'll see what happens after this. But moving on now to our next segment is a Rockies update. Obviously, the Phillies get the job done last night, the late night game, 9-3. They're looking to go out and get the W tonight as well. How are you guys feeling about the Phillies playing a lot better baseball?
I mean, it's the Rockies. The Rockies are a horrible team. They've been a horrible team, for years. But yeah, I mean, I think the tides have changed. I mean, these games matter the most. I had a lot of confidence in this team, before the season started. And then, as we all know, with Alvarado now suspended, it kind of stresses me out a little bit. But I mean, Bryce Harper's playing like he's the captain out there. We have Alec Boehm hitting some balls. We have Schwarber. I think he's kind of maybe in the running for the lead for running for MVP this year. I think he hit his 300 home run the other night. So the bats are connecting. I mean, that one game, what's today? What today's Wednesday? It may have been Monday night. I think it may have been Monday night. Where we were losing pretty much the whole game, and then we had that one inning where we kind of just blew up. You got to have the pedal on the metal, your foot on the metal. Your foot on the pedal. Wow, words. Because you can't, as the season goes on, players get injured, players get tired. So you gotta keep your foot on the throttle and make every inning count. I mean, I say for the Eagles ever since we started this that you got to play four quarters of baseball or football. For the Phillies, you got to play 9 innings. You got to play 9 innings of baseball for this to be a successful season. Because if you come out on a cold start, you're screwed. So we got to keep the bats alive. We got to keep on winning games because these games right now may not matter, but in the long run they will. So that's what I got to say. I mean, yeah.
These are the series that we should be sweeping. End of conversation. We need to be sweeping these games to continue to build that confidence, to continue to build that flow, so that when we get to those divisional series, especially right now with how this division is looking like it's going to shake out, we need every win that we can get. So yes, we're up 2-0, but we need to sweep the whole thing.
Yeah, I'm excited to see where this Phillies team can go. I'm excited to see where they can take this hot streak that they're on, because they're definitely on one. They're definitely trending in the right direction, and I want to give credit where credit's due. It's going to take a little bit more time, so stay tuned for that. But last but not least, Phillies are getting ready for a series in Sacramento, getting ready to play against the Oakland. Well, I shouldn't say Oakland. I'll let Chris say it because he'll be able to pronounce it better than me.
The Colorado Rockies?
No, who? I'm
Sorry,
drawing the A's.
Oh, the A's.
Are they Vegas now?
Yeah, well, no, they're in Sacramento right now. And then I think their next year or the year after, they're going to Las Vegas, if they ever make it there. Who knows? That's a dumpster fire of a fucking organization. The team's not, like, god-awful, but the organization is just terrible. They've tried this low-money Moneyball thing for about 25-plus years now and hasn't got them anywhere. So that's a team that desperately needs to sell.
Yeah, it's interesting. Ash, any thoughts on the series?
I mean, dumpster fire is there's multiple organizations that are dumpster fires at this point. And this is one of the biggest of the dumpster fires. So again, this should be another series that we should sweep it.
Sweep it. Jack, any thoughts?
You guys hit the nail on the head.
Yeah, I don't want to spend too much time on the Phillies because there's a lot of Eagles news that has happened the past week that we want to update. It's been like a freaking desert out there. Hasn't been a bunch of fun. And we'll go ahead and kick it off with Howie Roseman getting his boy back. He's like the NFL, he is a journeyman in a way around front offices. He started with the Ravens from 2000 to 2014. Then he was with the Bears, the director of college scouting, Ashley's fiance and former husband. He spent some time with that team. Then he came back to the wife's team with Ashley from 2016 to 2019. He was the VP of player personnel for the Eagles the first Super Bowl season. I'm talking about Joe Douglas. And that's something I actually wanted to talk about. Is like, for the people out there that don't know, because I didn't know a couple years ago, what does a VP of player personnel do? A lot of fucking shit. Hiring and staffing, scouting, roster management, salary cap, draft. They do a lot of different things. So they're basically involved with every facet of the team. And this guy was kind of Howie Roseman's jackknife. He was Howie Roseman's right-hand man. And I can't wait to see what this guy does. He's a beast. So I'm really glad to see him back in the front office. Really happy to see that the Eagles brought him back. And I think it's a great addition.
Yeah, they lost quite a few guys in the offseason in the front office. I can't tell you names. I just remember seeing them lose a bunch of guys. So getting Joe Douglas back, who was Howie's right-hand man for a little bit, is a big addition for this team. He's a guy who knows Howie really well. He's a guy who knows what Howie likes to do really well. And he obviously was pretty good because he won a Super Bowl before. So welcome back.
Yeah, welcome back. Ash, any thoughts on it?
Nothing else to add. I'm just excited that he's back.
Yeah. Jack, any thoughts?
No.
Perfect. Jalen Ramsey is potentially coming to the Eagles. This is going to be fun to see. Somebody that I thought a couple years ago could potentially be an Eagle. I really wanted them to draft him when he first came out of Jacksonville, but that didn't happen. Now the rumors are he could be coming to be an Eagle. We're kind of stacked when it comes to cornerbacks, but if he wants to come on a cheaper deal and fill that veteran role, I'd be okay with that. But I don't necessarily want to sign him to anything past a 2-year deal. That's my opinion on it.
I think Jalen Ramsey would be a good pickup. I just think he's old. I think, like you said, we're pretty good at that position. We just, got some guys in the draft, and would love to see him in Philadelphia, but I don't think, and I think he's going to be asking for a lot of money. I don't think he is worth the money to come to Philadelphia. I mean, he really hasn't. Did I just freeze?
Yeah, you froze a little bit. It might have been your Wi-Fi.
All right. That was weird. What I was saying about Jalen Ramsey is he hasn't really been that much of a breakout player since recently. And I think it would be just a waste of money on him. That's all I got to say.
Totally agree with Jack.
Chris, any thoughts on him?
I think he still due a lot of money, if I remember right. So I think they'd have to trade for him. I just don't see it really working out at this point. I'd rather them have another young guy come and develop with Cooper and Quignon, because if you have 3 young guys, you don't have to worry about that position for years. You're fine. And who knows what's left in the tank for Ramsey. I think they did good by going and getting a veteran guy in Adoree Jackson, who's been good before, but he's on a vet minimum. So you don't have to worry about that contract. And the ego with Jalen Ramsey is pretty high too. So this team was really good with, managing that last year. If you bring in more guys that have a big ego, I don't know how that transpires. So I honestly want to stay as far away from him as possible.
That makes a lot of sense, especially with the younger guys here. all that talent you have with them, I could totally understand why people want to stay as far away from him as possible because of money reasons, but not only financially, but ego wise too. Like you don't know what he's gonna. I think he's a little bit better than people give him credit for, but I could understand why with his past and what has went down there, why people may say that. But let's go ahead and talk about something that I've wanted to kind of talk about all night. This is obviously the hot topic, which is the Tush Push is safe. It's not going anywhere. And let's go ahead and bring on our special guest in Joe Donahue from Birds Nest Media. Joe, the Tush Push is safe, man. How you feeling?
Dalton, the darkness of the lies and the web of everything that was going on simply could not overcome the light of truth that was the fact that the Tush Push is here to stay. It is not a play that's going to get people injured. It's here. Dalton, I'm excited. I've been excited since this news broke this afternoon. It's huge. I don't think, and we can obviously talk about this, but I don't think I've seen anything like what has been going on with the Tush Push at all since I've been following the Eagles or the NFL. I don't think I've ever seen anything like this.
Yeah. And what are your thoughts, I mean, initially on some of the teams that decided to keep it versus some of the teams that decided didn't to keep it? I mean, any team surprise you?
I don't really see a whole lot of surprises. I think, honestly, the surprise was the fact that they fell just short. I don't see a ton of surprises in terms of like, hey, a team was on the list that should not have been, or vice versa. I do think it's interesting to note as you look at this list, the only team that's on here that the Eagles will face next season is the Detroit Lions. Everybody else is an AFC team or the Eagles won't face them. And so I think that says something about how the league was approaching it, how the owners were approaching this, because this wasn't a play. The two justifications that were given by the Green Bay Packers were that it was for player safety and pace of play. Player safety, obviously, there's not enough data on this, but the fact that, and that's something that Mark Murphy himself admitted, Jeffrey Lurie earlier in the year at the March meeting where this was initially discussed was very adamant that this was a play that was going to be safer for the Eagles to run than the standard quarterback sneak. So, and you saw that, and you heard from some of the reports today of Jeffrey Lurie basically saying that, like, if the blood is on your hands if one of our quarterbacks gets injured because you outlaw this play. So that's something that he takes very seriously here. And the second one was the pace of play argument, which should be completely written off because the only example Mark Murphy had to point to with regard to pace of play was the opportunity for Frankie Louvu to go leapfrogging over the line of scrimmage and getting into the offensive backfield and causing multiple offsides penalties and causing Sean Hockley to almost have to invoke the palpably unfair act rule, which is also inherently biased because Mark Murphy had to disclose the fact that he's a former Redskin. So, like, you can see how the league was approaching it when you look at the teams that were on the list and you look at all of those factors. The teams that were voting in favor of the ban were all teams that I honestly think just didn't want to have to deal with the play. And they were couching it under the guise of health and safety and couching it under the guise of pace of play. But they were really just like, we don't want to have to come up with a way to have to deal with this particular play that a few teams, the Eagles most prominently, but a number of teams have done really well. So we're just going to try to ban it. And today was a day where justice prevailed. And the truth of the matter is that none of those concerns that they were hiding this behind were really valid. And I think that the 9 teams that joined the Philadelphia Eagles in voting no on the Packers proposal, I think they realized that. Dan Campbell said, like, outright. Like, they have something good, and if you've got something, we've got to try to stop it. So you should keep it in the playbook.
Yeah. Ash, any thoughts?
Yeah, I think Jeffrey Lurie had a plan. He got his number one guy that he knew would be able to back it up in Jason Kelce. And Jason Kelce was able to be at the meeting today, which I thought was awesome, and was really able to, I think, ride home. Because if anybody has been through more tush pushes, actually at this point it's a little bit more questionable because we ran it so many times last season. But Jason Kelce did a whole heck of a lot of them, and can speak to the physical toll that it takes on your body. Also, I do think that it's interesting that Jerry Jones basically kind of dug himself into a hole yet again, and kind of said, like, if this play was anybody else, he would have voted in favor of keeping it. He voted that way because it's the Eagles. And I think that, unfortunately, even though he's the only owner who has come out and said that so far, I am sure that he was not the only owner who was thinking that way in his thought process.
It is kind of funny that he's still old and rotten that much. Like, it's like, you old rat bastard. You don't have anything better to do than to sit there and like worry about what we're doing. I'm sorry. What we're doing. Joe's got his out there too. It's like, come on, you know you want one, Jerry. Like you still can't smell it. My favorite is this one. I made this one today. This is like a work of art with Dalton getting his crowns out and drawing it out. My favorite is all the teams that voted against. If you're coming to Lincoln Financial Field next year, get ready to feel the wrath. Luckily, we go to Green Bay, so Packers fans kind of luck out there. But just looking at these teams, I believe that the Bears come here next season. We know that the Cowboys and the Commanders come here next season. And I think that the Rams, we might go there or they might come here. Same thing. But there's a good number of these teams that we play next year. It's like, all right, you better be careful, buddy, because we don't forget in Philadelphia. Then there's the other side of it, right? Where it's like, people forget that there's this other side of Philadelphia fans. And seriously, like, to seriously take it for a second and be serious, all jokes aside, there are great Philly fans out there that will give you a beer, that will give you a piece of chicken or whatever from their tailgate. You know what I mean? Whatever they're cooking up, just for free, even if you have on an opposite jersey. But it's all got to be all fun ball busting. So Ravens fans, Jets fans, Browns fans, Patriots fans, Lions, Saints, Jags, and Titans. You have a newfound respect from all of us Eagles fans for voting the right way on this. It was really excited to see. Chris, what were your thoughts?
I think it's an absolute sham, the whole thing. Green Bay Packers are the one team in the league that don't have an owner. They're the one who came up with this rule change. I think it was bullshit. I think it came from Roger Goodell in the league office to try to get this through. They tried multiple times to force it through this year. They voted on it once already. It didn't go through earlier this offseason, so they had to table it until now to get more votes, and they're still short. I think the one team on here that kind of surprises me it's on here is the Colts, because Shane Steichen used the tush push a lot in Philadelphia, and big reason why he got a job was because of that tush push. So to see the Colts vote against it was interesting. And same with the Cardinals with Gannon. Now, Gannon makes a little bit more sense because he's an asshole. Nobody likes him at all. But I was kind of surprised on the Colts. But obviously they had a lot going on today.
About the Colts specifically, I don't know. This literally breaking news about a half an hour ago. Jim Irsay, the owner of the Colts, passed away today. Which I live in Indy, so it's been big news around here. On that, I don't know. I'm assuming he sent his son in his place, but again, I don't really know how any of that worked, because I'm with you, Chris. I was very surprised when I saw the Colts on that list. Them and the Bills. I thought the Bills, because they had run the play a little bit more, were maybe going to swing to the other side. That was the one that I had. That was a little surprised.
To that point, Ash, I think there was some speculation too that I was following in the lead up to the vote, where the way that at the March meeting, the vote apparently was split down the middle, 50-50. 16 teams were for keeping the play, 16 teams were opposed to it. One of the things that the Packers did to try to appease 8 of those teams to try to get them to jump ship so that way they could get this proposal passed was they changed the wording of the proposal, and we got that wording late on Monday night, where the Packers basically reverted the rule to what it was pre-2005, where the only assistance you were able to provide the runner would be to physically block the individuals in front of you, which I think they were trying to do to try to get those 8 teams or as many other teams over to their side as possible. Obviously, that didn't work. And the other interesting side effect that would have had was it would have banned pushing the pile, which is something that occurred during an Eagles-Packers matchup where the Packers to this day could still have been pushing that pile. And it can be a little bit of a challenge there to do that under that rule because the rule would require you to block individually. So I think that's something there to be cognizant of in that regard.
Agree. Yeah, definitely something to be aware of. A lot of, I would say, I think it's jealousy from Packers fans and the Packers organization that Packers, I think, or the Rams were the 2 teams that probably gave us the biggest run for our money, which is kind of crazy to think about because that Packers game was actually a pretty good game there for a little bit. Josh Jacobs, all respect to him. I have a lot of respect for Jordan Love. But this whole tush push, I think, was just bad blood from last season. They were upset that they got tush pushed on. They were upset of the way it went. And unfortunately, the cookie did not crumble their way. But one thing we did want to talk about, too, with you, Joe, while we had you, the Philadelphia Eagles had a lot of news this week. We were texting about it. And one of the great news that they had was Nick Sirianni got extended. How are you feeling about this?
I'm feeling really good, Dalton. And before we get in too deep into that, I did also want to say the other thought about the tush push that I had. The Eagles have done the impossible, which is defeat the same team from outside of their division 3 times in one season. The Eagles have now swept the Packers 3 times in high-profile situations. That is crazy. So just wanted to throw that in there. With regard to the Nick Sirianni contract, I think after Super Bowl 59, this was clearly coming down the pipeline, and it definitely represents a very strong about face. It's definitely one of the signs that is present when it comes to the fact that, like, does the organization have that confidence in Nick Sirianni? This time last year, we couldn't say that. This time last year, I remember talking with Eagles insider Dave Spadaro and basically saying, like, the Eagles had a plan. The Eagles had a plan to address a lot of things. Now it's up to the coaching. Now it's up to to all that. And there are still outstanding questions at this time last year. Well, one of the things that Howie did really well, and certainly that Jeffrey Lurie did really well, was making sure that Nick has all the right pieces around him. They did the same thing for Jalen Hurts after the 2021 season. They went out, they got A.J. Brown. They got a stellar wide receiver core. Devontae Smith came in after that season. And, I mean, you have all of that. You had all those pieces around there, and that set Jalen Hurts up to be able to excel in that season. Same thing to a certain extent with Nick Sirianni here too, right? Like, you had concerns about Nick. So what they did was they removed all of the possible variables and said, all right, Nick, this is your team. We have confidence that you're going to be able to deal with this over the course of the season. If not, their speculation was rampant that Nick was going to be gone. And obviously, how quickly things change. And I think that this contract extension, along with how hard Jeffrey Lurie fought for the tush push, is a statement about the confidence that the Eagles organization has in Nick Sirianni. And it's something that we should take to heart as we're watching over the course of the next several seasons. He's a Super Bowl champion. He's the only head coach in the Eagles history to lead the Eagles to multiple Super Bowls. We hope he's going to be the first head coach since Earl Greasy Neal back in 1948-49 to bring the Eagles multiple NFL titles. We hope that that's going to be the case. He's got one of the best winning percentages in his first 4 seasons as a head coach among head coaches with 50 games or more under their belt. His winning percentage is just behind John Madden, and I forget who the other guy was up there as well. But certainly when you start talking about John Madden, he's in rare air there. So you have all of that going on. This was definitely to be expected. It's a vote of confidence that Nick will be able to build upon the success this year into future years. It's a multi-year extension. We don't know how many years is the multi-year. Nick wouldn't say that in his press conference yesterday, and typically you don't get as much info about the coaching contracts as you do about player contracts. But this is a big vote of confidence from Jeffrey Lurie, from Howie Roseman, to be able to keep Nick on for another several years, and hopefully we'll see some more of these Lombardi trophies come home.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I think, a lot of people were up in arms last season, and they've been up in arms with Nick Sirianni since he's been the head coach. But what he has done as the head coach for Philadelphia Eagles is we've been to the playoffs ever since he's been the head coach. We've been to 2 Super Bowls, lost 1, won 1. He's done a lot for this team, and a lot of fans don't give him enough credit where credit's due. And I think I've been riding with him since, there were rumors last year about, okay, well, if he doesn't make it to the playoffs or doesn't make it to the NFC Championship, that his ass is grass. But I just love to see the fact that, the tides have changed. Now that we won a Super Bowl, Nick Sirianni is the greatest coach of all time. You're not a true ride or die. And I hate seeing fans that are just now realizing, what he has done as a coach is something great. It really pisses me off because I hate when people aren't truthful about, okay, I was ride or die with him, since we were last 2-2. No, you weren't. You're just saying that now because things have changed. So, but yeah, I think it's a great idea. I think we needed this to happen, and I'm glad that he is extended and back as the head coach.
It truly is amazing how much a year makes a difference in the NFL. Like I wasn't full on for firing him, but I also wouldn't have been surprised if they fired him last offseason. The turnaround that he had this year was insane. Even though they still made the playoffs, like he's made the playoffs every single year. He's been a hell of a head coach and is well on track to being the best head coach in Philadelphia Eagles history. So of course they're going to extend him, and he's still really young. I'd love to see him for 10, 15 years, see him be that next dynasty type coach. But we'll see. In Philadelphia, it's really, really, really tough to hold on to a coaching job that long just because the fans try to push guys out so quickly, and I'm one of them. I'm not going to lie there. But yeah, I'd love to see Sirianni here for a long time.
Yeah, I think it's also very difficult too to really speculate on like what's going through the mind of the Eagles leadership, or the leadership really of any team for that matter. I remember thinking when Chip Kelly wound up getting fired, like I remember thinking like why was that decision made? Or can you give him an opportunity to turn it around, make sure that it's clear, do what the Eagles tried to do here. Obviously that didn't work. And I think there were certainly other situations going on with Chip Kelly. But you also look at it at the fact that Jeffrey Lurie hasn't had to hire a head coach since he hired Andy Reid in 1999. So that's also one of those, one thing to factor in there with that situation. But certainly I think that so Nick definitely has earned his props again. So here were the stats. So his 48-20 regular season record gives him the second most wins in NFL history for a coach in his first 4 seasons after George Seifert of San Francisco back in the early 90s. Nick Sirianni has the third highest winning percentage of the Super Bowl era in regular season games, behind John Madden and George Allen, among guys with a minimum of 50 games under their belt. So those were the two stats that I was thinking of there. This was huge. I agree with both of you guys. This was 100% huge. It feels good to have a little bit of security there, because especially with Jalen having a new offensive play caller this year for the umpteenth time in his young career in the NFL. To have some stability in the coaching staff is going to be really, really helpful for him. So again, just mad props to Nick for all that he accomplished and for being able to turn the ship around as quickly as he turned it around. Because I didn't think that he was going to get fired after week 5, but I did think that I did see the problems and the warning lights that were being flashed. So
the Paisan stays in town. It's good to see. Congratulations, Nick Sirianni. I know that obviously this extension means a lot to him. I think the community of Philadelphia also means a lot to him. I think he realizes that this is a great place to raise your family. This is a great place to establish your roots. These fans will love you. They will hate you when they hate you, but they're going to love you. And even when they hate you, it's not that much of hate. They're just going to, say some hurtful things about you on the radio. I don't really think anybody's really going to be coming for your head or your neck in 2025. There are a couple one-offs, don't get me wrong, with every fan base. But for the most part, those things you guys hear about Philadelphia fans aren't true. What I will say is this season is going to be an interesting test for Sirianni, because the second that we hit 500, even if it's 2-2, if the first 4 games, the Eagles somehow end up 2-2, like they were last year, I believe, when they won the Super Bowl, people and sports media will be calling for his head. That is how quickly they will switch up. So this year is going to be a very big test for him week by week to see how he mentally deals with that. Last year, he did a great job, I think, dealing with that. He blocked out the haters. He put on his horse blinders and he said, you know what? I'm going to do my job. This year, he's got to be able to do the same thing. We'll see. I think if he can do it, though, 2 years in a row, there's a very good chance this team will three-peat.
Yeah, and I think one of the things, too, is that Nick Sirianni really embodies this city in a way that I haven't seen in other coaches that have come through the Philadelphia Eagles. He is somebody who is going to work very hard. He is somebody who is going to really try to make sure that his team is playing hard. He goes through his 5 core values: competitive or connection, competition, accountability, football IQ, and fundamentals. And I think those all speak to really the ideals and the fabric of the city that we live in. So I think he really embodies the spirit of Philadelphia, the fact that he has gone up against adversity himself over the course of those first 4 seasons of his. Certainly his opening press conference was completely brutal, and we all can probably meme the heck out of the Flowers speech that he has spoken about. But the flowers are starting to show their bloom right now, and Nick's doing a really good job. I would challenge the Eagles fan base. I know it's going to be tough. I would challenge the Eagles fan base to try to keep a level head. A, because the schedule this year is going to be much more difficult than the schedule last year. And B, each season's different. It has its own challenges. And I'm sure that Nick has a plan. So even if we're in that 2-2 situation early in the year, I would challenge the fans to try to keep a level head because we just saw today and we just saw this week 2 very strong votes of confidence from the Eagles leadership. And I think that says a lot about Nick Sirianni's character.
Yeah. Well, that's pretty much all we got for you guys tonight. I want to thank Joe Donahue for joining us and Chaos Chris joining us last minute to fill in for KJ. Thank you, bro. I appreciate you. I might see Chaos Chris later. I don't know. I'm going to try to stay up. I don't know if you are. I don't know. I might actually take a bet on the Phillies just to make myself stay up or something. We'll see. But we might be live for the Phillies postgame show. I know a lot of people were asking about that too. just with the later games, guys, and everybody's got like a life, everybody's got work early in the morning. It's been harder to do them. But no, if we don't do one tonight, one is definitely coming tomorrow with the earlier game. Shardy wanted me to let you guys know. Chris should be there too. And we got some drip coming out for you guys soon too. So stay tuned on that. But before we wrap up, Joe, can you please let the people know where they can give you a follow?
Absolutely, Dalton. So obviously my main channel is YouTube, Bird's Nest Media on YouTube. And then you can find me at Bird's Nest Media and pretty much any other social media site. Twitter, I always have to say it. Twitter is at Bird's Nest FB. FB, obviously short for football there. Yeah, we've got some great, interesting content coming out, including a really special guest. He's been on the show before. He's been on my show before, but he's coming back. And he gave some really insightful comments when I had him on last time, and he's been gracious enough to come on again. So stay tuned for that. I don't want to spoil the guest, but I think that most Eagles fans will recognize him, and certainly will gain a lot out of the conversation that we're going to have. So
I'm going to be tuning in. Stay tuned. Thank you for joining us, Joe.
Absolutely, Dalton. Thank you for having me. Go Birds, go Phils, all that jazz.
I hear you. Have a good night.
Thank you.
Well, that's pretty much all we got for you guys tonight. Wanted to bring on a couple of guests. Like I said, KJ couldn't be here tonight. He had some family stuff going on. So he wanted me to say hi to everybody. He also did say that he has a rant coming next week about the Cowboys. So get ready for that. But I just want to thank TickPick one last time for sponsoring the show tonight. TickPick's been one of our premier sponsors since we've been working with them. And right now, there's not a better time to go out and buy tickets to Eagles games. Was just looking at tickets to Eagles Raiders. They're way cheaper on the TickPick app. So if you're looking for a game to go to, maybe come hang out there. You might see us there. But other than that, Jackson, feel free to take us out of here, man.
Yeah, no, without further ado, happy Memorial Day. Enjoy your long weekend. Please enjoy the beach or whatever boat you're on. Be safe this weekend. Hey, Josh, it's an outro, not an intro. Hit that motherfucking outro.
What we got? 302BIRDS, Stinks.